The words hit like a freight train. He's not yours, David. I froze, coffee mug halfway to my lips, as my ex-wife, Laura, leaned forward, her eyes burning with a mix of guilt and defiance. The kitchen clock ticked louder than it ever had, each second hammering the weight of her confession into my chest. 16 years of fatherhood coaching, Little League, wiping tears after scraped knees, late-night talks about girls and dreams dissolved in one sentence. My son, Ethan, the kid I'd raised since he was a squalling newborn, wasn't mine. And now some stranger, his real dad, wanted to waltz into his life. Laura's voice trembled as she continued, her hands twisting the edge of her scarf. I didn't know how to tell you back then. It was a mistake, a fling. I was young, stupid. But now, he found me. He wants to meet Ethan. I set the mug down hard, the ceramic clinking against the table. You lied for 16 years, and now what? You just rip our family apart because some guy's curious. Her lips parted, but no words came. She looked away, out the window where the autumn leaves skittered across the driveway. The same driveway where Ethan and I used to play basketball, laughing until we couldn't breathe. I wanted to scream, to shake her until the last decade and a half made sense again. But all I could do was sit there, drowning in the silence. Ethan was upstairs, probably blasting music through his headphones, oblivious to the bomb Laura had just dropped. He was 16, all lanky limbs and sarcastic grins, with my sense of humor, or so I thought. I'd been there for every milestone, his first word, da. Ironically, his first bike ride, his first heartbreak. And now, Laura was telling me those moments belonged to someone else. Why now? I finally asked, my voice low, barely holding together. His name's Mark, she said, almost a whisper. He didn't know about Ethan until last year. He's been searching for him. He's a good man. David. He deserves a chance. A chance, I laughed, bitter and sharp. What about my chance? What about Ethan's? You don't get to rewrite his life because your old flames got regrets. Laura flinched, but her jaw tightened. This isn't about you. It's about Ethan. He deserves to know the truth. The truth. That word felt like a blade. Truth didn't erase the nights I stayed up with him during fevers, or the way he'd hug me after a game, all sweaty and proud. Truth didn't change the fact that I was his dad in every way that mattered. But now, this Mark guy was out there, a ghost from Laura's past, threatening to unravel everything. I stood, pacing the small kitchen, my hands raking through my hair. Does Ethan know? Not yet, her voice cracked. I wanted to tell you first. I stopped, staring at her. You're going to break his world. Laura, you get that? Right, she nodded, tears spilling over. I know, but keeping this secret, it's eating me alive. And Mark, he's not going away. That night, I couldn't sleep. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at a photo of Ethan and me from last summer, fishing at the lake. His grin was wide, his eyes bright with the kind of trust only a kid has for his dad. I wasn't ready to lose that, but Laura's words kept echoing. He's not yours. The next morning, I found Ethan at the kitchen table, shoveling cereal into his mouth. He looked up, his dark hair falling into his eyes. You okay, Dad? You look like crap. I forced a smile. Rough night. You got practice today. Yeah, my coach is going to kill us with drills. He rolled his eyes, but there was that spark, that easy connection we'd always had. I wanted to freeze this moment, to keep him as my son, untouched by the chaos Laura was about to unleash. But I couldn't. That afternoon, Laura came over, and we sat Ethan down. The air in the living room was thick, the kind of tension you could choke on. Laura started, her voice shaking. Ethan, there's something we need to tell you about your dad. He frowned, glancing at me. What about Dad? I couldn't look at him. Laura took a deep breath. David's raised you, loved you, and he's your dad in every way that matters. But biologically, there's someone else. Your biological father. Ethan's face went blank. like a computer screen frozen mid-crash. What? She explained haltingly, tearfully about Mark, the fling, the secret she'd buried. Ethan's eyes darted between us, searching for a punchline that wasn't coming. When she finished, he stood, his chair scraping against the floor. So in a way, what you're saying, Dad's not my dad, and some random guy wants to play father now. His voice was loud, raw, the kind of anger that comes from betrayal. Ethan, I'm still your dad, I said, reaching for him. He pulled away, his fists clenched. Then why didn't you tell me? Why'd you let me think? He stopped, his voice breaking. I don't even know who I am anymore. He stormed out, the front door slamming behind him. Laura sobbed, but I couldn't comfort her. I was too angry, too broken. Days passed, and Ethan barely spoke to me. He'd come home from school, go straight to his room, and blast music. I tried talking to him, but he'd just shrug or mutter, I'm fine. I wasn't fine. I was losing him, and I didn't know how to stop it. Then Mark showed up. Laura had arranged a meeting at a coffee shop, neutral ground. I didn't want to go, but Ethan insisted. I need to see him, he said, his voice flat. I need to know. Mark was tall, with dark hair like Ethan's, and a nervous smile that made me hate him instantly. He shook my hand, too firm, like he was trying to prove something. David, I'm grateful for everything you've done for him, he said. Save it, I snapped. You don't get to thank me for raising my son. Ethan shot me a look, but he didn't say anything. We sat, the four of us, in a booth that felt too small. Mark talked about his life, a software engineer, recently divorced, no kids of his own. He'd found out about Ethan through a mutual friend of Laura's and had spent months tracking her down. I just want to know you. Ethan, he said, leaning forward. I'm not here to replace anyone. Ethan stared at his coffee, stirring it endlessly. Why now, he asked, echoing my own question. Mark hesitated. I didn't know about you until last year. If I had, I'd have been here sooner. The sincerity in his voice made my stomach twist. He wasn't a monster. He was just a guy who'd missed out on something he now wanted. But that didn't make it easier. Over the next few weeks, Ethan started meeting Mark without me. They'd grab burgers, go to a game. Each time, I felt him slipping further away. Laura tried to mediate, but her guilt made her words hollow. I threw myself into work, trying to outrun the ache, but it followed me. One night, Ethan came home late, his face unreadable. He sat on the couch, staring at the TV, which wasn't even on. How's Mark? I asked, hating the question. He's okay, Ethan said. He's nice, but he's not you. I looked at him, my throat tight. What do you mean? He sighed, rubbing his hands together. He's trying hard. Tells me about his life, asks me stuff, but it's weird. Like, he doesn't know me. Not like you do. I didn't know what to say. Part of me wanted to hug him. Part of me was terrified to hope. You're my dad, he said finally, his voice low but firm. You've always been there. Mark's just some guy. Tears stung my eyes, but I blinked them back. I'm not going anywhere. Ethan, no matter what. He nodded, and for the first time in weeks, he didn't pull away when I put my arm around him. Things didn't magically fix themselves. Ethan still met Mark occasionally, and I had to make peace with that. Laura and I worked on rebuilding trust, not for us, but for Ethan. It was messy, painful, but we were a family imperfect, scarred, but ours. The truth had shaken us, but it didn't break us. Love, I realized, wasn't about blood. It was about showing up, day after day, even when it hurt. It was about choosing to be there, no matter what a DNA test said. What do you think? Was Laura right to reveal the truth? Or should she have kept the secret to protect her family? How would you balance honesty with the pain it causes? Share your thoughts. There's no easy answer here.